The forest was alive with the soft murmurs of nature, a symphony of rustling leaves, distant birdsong, and the occasional creak of ancient trees swaying in the wind. Alex moved cautiously, his boots crunching over the scattered twigs and leaves carpeting the forest floor. This wilderness was his refuge, the only place where he felt truly free. He loved the solitude, the raw beauty of it. But today, something felt off. The usual tranquility was disrupted, as though the forest itself was holding its breath. A sound reached his ears, a low, guttural growl that made him pause mid-step. It was faint at first, almost blending into the natural hum of the woods, but there was no mistaking its origin. He turned his head toward the noise, his pulse quickening. Stepping carefully, he moved toward the source, pushing aside branches and weaving through the underbrush. The sight stopped him cold. A wolf, dark as the shadows cast by the towering trees, was caught in a steel trap. The jagged teeth of the contraption had sunk deep into its hind leg, blood staining the ground beneath it. The animal thrashed weakly, its growls growing louder as its amber eyes locked onto Alex. The raw pain in its gaze was almost too much to bear, but there was something else, fear, and perhaps a flicker of defiance. Alex's instincts screamed at him to turn and leave. A trapped wolf was still dangerous, especially one as large and wild as this. But he couldn't ignore it. The animal was suffering, and walking away felt wrong. He knelt down slowly, keeping his movements deliberate. The wolf bared its teeth, a warning Alex chose to heed. He stopped just far enough to avoid a lunge. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said softly, his voice calm and even. "I want to help." The wolf's growling didn't subside, but its frantic thrashing slowed as if it were assessing him. Alex reached into his backpack, pulling out a water bottle and a length of cloth. He poured some of the water into his cupped hand and extended it toward the animal. The wolf eyed him suspiciously, its growls turning into low whines of pain. Finally, it hesitated, its nose twitching at the scent of water. Alex seized the moment. Moving carefully, he edged closer until he was within reach of the trap. His fingers worked quickly, prying at the rusted metal with all the strength he could muster. The wolf let out a sharp yelp, and Alex flinched but kept going. After what felt like an eternity, the jaws of the trap released their grip, and the wolf pulled its leg free with a shuddering whimper. Blood oozed from the wound, and Alex quickly pressed the cloth against it to stem the bleeding. The wolf growled weakly but didn't resist. Its amber eyes met Alex's, and for the first time, he saw something that looked like trust, or maybe exhaustion masquerading as trust. The moment didn't last. A distant sound broke the fragile calm, a man's voice, sharp and angry, carrying through the trees. Alex froze, his heart hammering in his chest. "Poachers." He glanced at the wolf, then at the direction of the voice. "They couldn't stay here." "You're coming with me," Alex whispered. He didn't know if the wolf understood, but it didn't matter. He wasn't leaving it behind. He fashioned a crude sling from his jacket, wrapping it carefully around the wolf's body to support its injured leg. The wolf let out a soft growl but didn't fight him. Lifting the animal onto his shoulders, Alex gritted his teeth against the weight and began moving. Every step was a struggle, but he pressed on, guided by the instinct to survive. The voices grew louder, more distinct. Alex's breath came in ragged gasps as he navigated the uneven terrain. His boots slipped on loose dirt, and branches clawed at his skin, but he didn't stop. He couldn't. The wolf's warmth against his back was a reminder of why he was doing this, a life depended on him. He reached a dense thicket and ducked inside, lowering the wolf gently onto the ground. The animal whimpered, its body trembling. Alex crouched beside it, peering through the foliage. He could see the poachers now, 3 of them, armed with rifles and moving methodically through the forest. Spread out, one of them barked. That wolf couldn't have gone far. Alex's stomach churned. He glanced at the wolf, its amber eyes watching him intently. "Stay quiet," he whispered. The wolf blinked, as if acknowledging the command. The men drew closer, their boots crunching over the leaves. Alex held his breath, every muscle in his body taut. One of the poachers stopped mere feet from their hiding spot, scanning the area. Alex's fingers tightened around a sturdy branch he'd picked up earlier. If it came to it, he'd fight. The man lingered for a moment longer before turning and moving away, his muttered curses fading into the distance. Alex exhaled shakily, his chest heaving. They were safe, for now. He waited until the forest was silent again before emerging from the thicket. The wolf tried to stand but faltered, its injured leg buckling beneath it. Alex knelt beside it, placing a reassuring hand on its fur. "We'll find somewhere to rest," he said. "You're not alone anymore." As the sun dipped below the horizon, Alex found a small hollow beneath a fallen tree. It was hidden from view and offered enough space for the two of them to shelter for the night. He built a small fire, its flickering flames casting long shadows across the hollow. The wolf lay beside him, its breathing steady but labored. Alex tore another strip from his shirt, wrapping it around the wound more securely. "You're tough," he murmured, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "I think I'll call you Shadow." The wolf's ears twitched at the name, and Alex chuckled softly. "Yeah, Shadow suits you." The peace of the moment was fleeting. A distant howl cut through the night, followed by the sharp crack of a gunshot. Alex tensed, his hand instinctively moving to Shadow's fur. The wolf growled softly, its body coiled with tension. "They're still out there," Alex whispered, his voice low. His mind raced with possibilities. They couldn't stay here forever, but moving in the dark was dangerous. He looked at Shadow, the bond between them solidifying in the shared danger. "We'll make it," Alex said, as much to himself as to the wolf. "I promise." The night stretched on, the fire's glow a fragile shield against the encroaching darkness. The danger wasn't over, not by a long shot. But Alex felt a spark of hope. For the first time in a long time, he wasn't facing it alone.
Tales of bravery and loyalty between humans and animals. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more thrilling and heartfelt stories that remind us of the extraordinary power of trust and courage.